Okay, today we are doing determinants. And determinants, all you have to do is be able to find one. Just, if you're curious, they are used. If you were solving a system by hand using matrices, you might use something called a determinant to solve for x and y or x, y, and z. Okay? If you were doing it by hand using matrices. We're not going to do that. But it is related to solving systems. All you have to do is find the determinant. Determinants, you'll know that somebody's asking you to find a determinant because they're going to be written in bars that look like absolute value bars. So if I gave you this problem right here and I had no directions at all, you would know because of these bars, you have to find the determinant. That's what those bars mean. Now, if I gave you directions and I gave you a matrix, that would be fine also. I could say, find the determinant of this matrix. If I didn't give you directions, it would just be these lines saying, find the determinant. Determinants they're always found of a square matrix, so like a 1 by 1, a 2 by 2, a 3 by 3, a 4 by 4. So here's a 2 by 2. And to find the matrix of a 2 by 2, you're going to multiply diagonally from the bottom corner up, AD, and then you will subtract, multiply from the bottom corner up, CB. So you're going to kind of cross multiply up, has to be up, or you'll be in the wrong order. So again, AD minus CB. So AD goes here, minus CB goes there. Question?
Why is the one to the, why is it AD and not DA if the other one's CB and not DC?
I guess because I put it in that order. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, right? If you multiply A times D or D times A, aren't they the same?
No, I haven't. Oh yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. That's just the order I wrote it in. So DA times CB. Is that better if I say DA?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that better? Da. Okay. Now, if we have a 1 by 1, there is not a 1 by 1 on your paper, but there is one in the assignment. So if we have a 1 by 1, and I want you to find the determinant of it, then they'll have those bars, and I'll just pick a number, I don't know, 7. If I ask you to find the determinant of a 1 by 1, it's just 7. Okay. Great example. I'm glad you all wrote it down. Then you won't have to ask me later. Okay. So here's the 2 by 2s. So again, big one. We're going to cross multiply up. So we'll do negative 6 times negative 4, 24. And then you always subtract, and you cross multiply up. Negative 2 times negative 5, 10. 24 minus 10 is 14. The determinant is always one value. So you will have a number. It is not in those bars anymore. It's just a number. On your homework, I would expect to see 24 minus 10. I know you could probably do that in your head, but I want to see the numbers that got you 14. So you will show this step in your homework. Okay? Try the next two on your own. Not a contest on who can do the most amount with the work. Show me what you subtracted. Not a contest. I'm not saying try to do it with no work. Show me what you subtracted, guys. All right, I saw a lot of silly mistakes. Let's go through these. 4 times 1 is 4. Subtract. 3 times 2 is 6. Answer -2. That one was okay. I saw the most mistakes walking around on C. 2 times -2, -4. Subtract. 4 times -3, -12. So when you subtract to negative, you're adding the positive 8. Questions? All right, next section is 3 by 3. 3 by 3, it says up here what to do, but it's like, I don't know if you could read it and figure it out. What you're going to do is you are going to still do this cross multiply from like the bottom corner up, but you have to multiply every single number, and if I just draw that one diagonal, it's not getting every single number. You see I missed a bunch of numbers? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the first 2 columns and we're going to repeat them at the end of this determinant. So I just took the first 2 columns and repeated them. And then when we multiply 3 times 1 times 3, we get 9. And then we're going to multiply 4 times 4 times 2. And that's going to be 32. And then we're going to multiply -3 times -2 times 2. And that's going to be 12. So that's, instead of just having one number, subtracting one number, it's now going to be 3 numbers. And we're going to subtract the diagonals going the other way. So we're going to subtract 3 numbers this time. So 4 times 1 times 2 is -8. Then we're going to subtract -3 times 4 times 3, so -36. And then we're going to subtract 3 times -2 times 2, -12. So the first 3 are just adding them. You take that sum and you subtract the last 3. Now, I hear buttons. Hold on. This would be like the non-calculator section of the quiz. So can you add these numbers without a calculator? So for me, and I know that my son who's in 2nd grade is learning the importance of making tens. If I were going to add these by hand without the calculator, I'm going to see if I can make, like, in the ones column tens. So I'm looking at maybe adding 32 plus 36 plus 12, because I have a 2, a 6, and a 2, which makes 10 in the ones column. And then I'm going to add that 10 plus 30, so 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And then from there, I'm going to add the 9 and the 12, which is 21. And then I'm going to subtract off my 8. And I get 93. So that would be on the non-calculator portion of our quiz on Friday. I want you to try B on your own. And then if you have it correct, then I'll give you the next directions. Not a contest of who can do the most in their head. Write down what you're adding and subtracting, especially because then it helps me find if you made a mistake. Yeah, 2 of the numbers on here are wrong. That's right. Okay, yep. So now on the back, we're going to do it on the calculator, but before we do it on the calculator, let's just this one by hand. You don't need to do that. You don't have to get like the way to 5%. So now solve that this time by hand, and then I'll teach you how to do it up here. Well, that number's not. I don't know where you multiplied and added to get that answer. me, it looks like you just got it from somebody.
These numbers are very wrong.
Much of these numbers are wrong. Yeah. Solve that system by hand, just like we did in chapter 7. We'll go over and do it in try to do this one by hand the way we were doing in chapter 7. Do the right answer, but this doesn't look right to me. Your cross multiplying up, so when I draw my arrows, the first number should be
That's like a sentence.
which should be what number? Oh, 6 plus 6. Right. So when you have negative here, also. But it should be that should be the first one. So it should be the first one. The last one number should be the opposite. You did the opposite right. Well, yes, you got the right answer only because you luckily put that wrong and then subtracted it wrong. You would have gotten the wrong answer. And if you actually had other numbers here other than 0, you definitely would have got the right answer. So just make sure you, I always draw the arrow, like you cross multiply up. So up, these come first. No, you have to make it go that way. You say I'm cross multiplying up. Okay. That way it's in the right way. Subtract. You'll go in the right order too that way. All right, we're having a lot of trouble with when you multiply by zeros. So you rewrite -5, 4, -3. You rewrite 0 to 5. Ladies and gentlemen, you cross multiply up. And when you multiply two negatives, you get a positive. You cross multiply up, and anytime you multiply by 0, you get 0. Anytime you multiply by 0, you get 0. And we subtract. Cross multiply up, oh, there's a 0. Cross multiply up, oh, there's a 0. And cross multiply up, there's a 0. So the answer should be 60. But now, if you did some of that wrong and you still got the right answer, you lucked out. Because, like, there were so many zeros in there, you lucked out. There's not always going to be that many zeros. So be careful. Now, just take a moment. As I review, on the back, question A, as I review from chapter 7, how did we do this by hand? And then I will teach you the calculator way, the graphing calculator matrix way. How did we do it by hand? What are our options?
Solve for x.
By substitution or elimination. Choose your favorite. Try it. It's going to be on your exam next week, so hey, let's review now. Yes, you will get none. You will get a fractional answer, so if you're getting fractions, you're not wrong. So just do the x and y. Ordered pair. Those are the right answers. Ordered pair. That's a negative one. That's probably good when you add that over there. Yeah. I plugged it in the second one. Because the second one is easier for her. Just write it as a word pair and it'll be the right answer. Please don't count. No, how much did? What'd you get here?
I got 1.1. about using minus? Oh, never mind.
Okay, you can't do it by hand?
I mean, I can, but I just don't feel like
Okay.
it.
So I'm going to do mine by substitution. You could have done elimination. Either's totally fine. But I decided to do substitution. Substitute in for x. I'm going to do 4 times 1 minus 5y minus 2y equals negative 1. And I get 4 minus 22y is negative 1. So negative 22y is negative 5. Y is 5 over 22. When you go and you plug it back in, I chose to plug it into the second equation. X plus 5 times 5 over 22. How do we multiply those by hand? Put 5 over 1 straight across. Oops, that's not an equal sign, sorry. And then to solve for x, you have to subtract 25 over 22, but we need common denominators to subtract them. So I changed the number 1 into 22 22s. And we get negative 3 22. Then we take our solution and we write it as a ordered pair. So negative 3 over 22, 5 over 22. Oh, and then we check our answer, but I'm not going to do that right now just because of time. So that is by hand, and you'll see that on your exam next week. Thursday. Well, let me show you how to do it on the calculator. So there is a way to do it on the calculator using matrices. And if you choose to do it on the calculator using matrices to show your work, you would, I'm going to write some steps down if you'd like to copy these steps. You really don't need that much work, especially for question B. So feel free, if you need space over here to write calculator steps, you'll have plenty of space on here, I promise. So we're not going to do question B by hand. We're just going to only do it on the calculator. So your first step is to write the system as an augmented matrix. We learned that the first day of matrices. Remember the augmented matrix? How do we do the augmented matrix? Where do I get the numbers for the augmented matrix? The what? What are they called? Coefficients. And then what are the dots in this matrix? The equal signs. And then the constants over there. So we will have 4, 1, and we'll have negative 2, 5, and then the dots, and then the negative 1, 1. So we first write it as an augmented matrix. So that would be the work that you'll show on your paper if you're doing it with the calculator, because the rest of it's on the calculator. So step 2, type in matrix, and then whatever one you want to call it, I'm just going to call it A when I do it on my calculator. We're going to type it in. What dimensions, where did that go? What dimensions is this matrix? 2 by 3. So go ahead and type that in. I'm going to do it up here too. So we go to matrix, and you go to edit. You choose your 2 by 3. And then to do the next step, you have to go back to the calculation screen. So you got to get out of the matrix screen. Once you have it in there, I'll go there in just one moment. But you need to go to the calculation screen. Second mode gets you to the calculation screen. Second mode. Okay, and I'm going to write down what we're going to do, and then I'll go do it. So you're going to go to matrix, and then you're going to arrow over till it says math. And then I just normally arrow up until I see this choice, but it is choice B if you wanted to do alpha B. But I just normally arrow up because I never remember that it's B. We find the choice that says RREF. That stands for Reduced Row Echelon Form, which is in the directions. So that's what RREF is, Reduced Row Echelon Form. And once you get that, it's going to show on the calculator. And there will be an open parenthesis. And then from there, you're going to have to type in, go back to matrix, and choose matrix A to go in that RREF. And then I'll do it in just a moment with you. I'm just writing down. And then after that, you'll hit enter. Enter. Okay, so we go matrix, go over to math, we arrow up until we get to RREF, and then you go matrix A equal sign. So I'm going to do it now. If you didn't get this copy down, it'll come up, it'll be back. So we go matrix over to math, and I'm going to arrow up until I find RREF. And you'll see it shows on the calculation screen. Then you do matrix A. Enter. Now there's a big old decimal sitting there. And what were our answers when we did it by hand? Fractions. So you can change it to fractions by doing math, enter, enter. Oh, I don't have the right numbers in. That's not the right answer. What did I type in wrong? Hold on one moment. You guys probably have the right answers. Do you have the right answers? Yeah. What did I type in wrong? I have a decimal for some reason instead of, I meant to do negative signs. Okay. Okay, I still have the wrong answer. How's this happen when I'm recording, but it doesn't happen during class? Here it is. I know, I see it. All right, third time's the charm. Oh, it's not right. What did I do? Oh, this is a fun one. 2 by 3. What are my numbers wrong? 4, negative 2. Yeah, now I see it. All right, fourth time's the charm. And I promise you, that didn't happen the first 2 classes at all. Just third period, when I'm recording it, I can't type things in. All right, so what we have here is a matrix answer that is in the augmented matrix form. This answer is in the augmented matrix form. So I'm just going to write it on my paper so you can see how this gives us, I mean, you can see the answers there, but I'll explain how that gives the answer. So what showed up was and then if I were going to take this and put it back into like the equations, this would say x plus no y equals negative 3 over 22. And this one would be no x's plus y equals 5 over 22. So you can see it says x equals this and y equals that. But how do we write our answer? How do we write our answer when we do systems? Ordered pair. Make sure you write your answer as an ordered pair. So what you'd have to write on your paper would be the original augmented matrix you typed in your calculator and then the ordered pair. That's all you have to write on your paper. Okay, I'll put the steps back up if you didn't finish copying them, but I want you to try B. So you have to show your augmented matrix. You can do everything on your calculator. And then write your answer as an ordered. This time it won't be a pair, it'll be a triple.
You have to do it in the calculation screen, so now do it.
Matrix. And see how it's looking.
What is that?
What is?
I'm not sure. I have to go. Be like, let me get to it. What?
Now you remember typed in wrong, because I got that in one of my 4 tries, but I got that answer, so you just put it in typed in wrong. But that's how you do it. Okay, I'm gonna write my augmented matrix up. Because that's the work you have to show. They're not even gonna tell us what that was. Well, that was like only the O's.
Please excuse the interruption. That bell that just went off was an accidental switch. Just resume what you were doing.
Done. Resumed
You
it.
write the little like you write the little brackets and then the 3 ordered pairs and then like the little squiggly ones.
3 ordered pairs?
Like
Or do you mean the ordered triple?
I mean for like for the next one, the X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? How would you write that when I was asleep?
Okay. I'm about to do it. I just have to type it in my calculator still. And hopefully this time I type it in right. Embarrassing ones. So I typed in my augmented matrix. I go to my calculation screen. I choose RREF of matrix A. Looks like there's some fractions, so I math enter it, and I get fractional answers. So I'm going to take that, and it says X is 44 thirds, Y is negative 52 thirds, Z is 29 thirds. So I'm going to write it as an ordered triple. So Avery, now what was your question?
If you could put outside of that the little bracket.
You can.
Okay.
That's not wrong. If you have that there and then you have extra brackets, it's not wrong. The brackets are usually when we have multiple answers. We put them together as these are all the answers. Okay. If you didn't get that and you want me to come look at your calculator and just troubleshoot, then please call me over. If you got it, no problem. I'm putting the assignment up. And the assignment, there's 2 sections in the book. The second section, 599, is where you use your calculator. The first section would be like the non-calculator section. So if you have questions about how to do stuff without the calculator, just call me over and ask. There's lots of books over there, and it's also on Canvas.